Welcome to Queer Conversation with Australian writer and producer Hamish Downie. My name is Silke Bader. Hamish is an Australian LGBT filmmaker and producer based in Osaka, Japan. After teaming up with Paul Leeming and directing some music videos for world music diva Robin Luau, he made his first short film Silence, which did well on the festival circuit in Europe. Buoyed by that success, he ventured out to make his first feature film, Matcha Vanilla, which reunites the creative team behind Silence. Hamish's debut feature film, Matcha Vanilla, is a dramatic film shot around the city of Osaka with additional scenes shot in Los Angeles and voice work done in Arizona and Sydney. While providing social commentary on LGBT life in Japan, it also explores the universal themes of love, marriage, sexism, ageism and poverty. Despite a policy of womenomics and slowly changing attitudes to women in the workplace, post-marriage and children, I still struggles against ageism and sexism in the workplace. Yuki faces the challenge of cancer without I, as they are in the closet, and hospitals don't recognize same-sex couples as family. This film is the marriage equality debate in dramatic form. Let's have a look at the trailer.
お気の毒ですが、かなり進行していて、もう手の施しようがありません。
全身に回ってるって。他の人探してほしいの。一緒にいるよ。ユキ、家族だもん。ユキと私だけだもん。
Welcome, Hamish. I'm really glad to have you on the show today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Because you sent a press release through to us about your latest or your first debut feature film that you
right.
have done, which we just seen the trailer of. And congratulations on this. This is looked really amazing, and I can't wait to see it. And
Oh, thank you.
where do you think we can see it in Australia?
So worldwide, it's available on a streaming platform called Gaga Ulala. So GAGAOOLALA. So the Gaga is the gay,
Yep.
and Lala is the lesbian, and the U is kind of everything together.
I'm looking forward to watching it. So the topic itself is so important. It is looking at the trailer. What we can expect is two women who are together, are in love.
Mm.
And they are not out, and one of them faces the battle with cancer, and the hurdles and the problems there are for couples who are not recognized and have to go through this journey. Tell us a little bit what the situation is like in Japan. Why did that? What motivated you to do this feature film?
Well, sure. I mean, it's sort of, like I sort of mentioned pre-recording, like I was sort of planning to only be here in Japan for a year. But when I settled down and I met my partner who's Japanese, and then that's when you sort of start learning a bit about some of the difficulties of that you don't really realize until you're like right in the culture. So one of the biggest fears a lot of us have, like if you're dating a Japanese person or like two Japanese people dating each other, in the LGBT community, is the fear of one of them getting sick, going to hospital, and then because the family don't know you exist, and the family sort of crowd around the person. Sometimes, you'll never know what happens to the person. Like if they pass away, it's just like as soon as they enter the hospital system, they disappear. So that's kind of that fear is always sort of at the back of your mind. And actually, because we shot the film over the course of 2 years, so in between production, I actually ended up with me getting sick, and I was hospitalized, and that's when I actually found out there is sort of a way, like when you're in a hospital, they were pressuring me for a contact, and so I gave my partner as my contact. Like obviously, I said he was my friend, and I think we use it in the film, the word key person they use, but they were pressuring me for a relative in Japan that not a friend, and that was when you're hospitalized for a week, the last thing you really want to deal with was this added stress on top of it. So I did actually get to experience that firsthand, not just as a fear, because a lot of my films are either like something I've experienced, or in this case it was like my biggest fear.
How difficult it is to find actresses to play gay characters as to start off with.
Sure.
How does that go with their family and their career as actresses as well, moving forward?
Sure. Well, in the case of Tomoko Hayakawa, so she plays Yuki in the film. Um, she has essentially retired from acting prior to the film. So she came out of retirement in order to do the film, because she thought it was a good part. She basically said at her sort of stage, she wasn't getting a lot of good parts. So for her, it was a chance to do a good part, and we've worked together quite a few times. With Kyoko Kudos, like she's obviously still in the industry. She's working, so there were certain restrictions that we had to abide by, which was more in terms of say like nudity or something like that. I kind of went into the film thinking like maybe something like Andrew Haig's like The Weekend. I sort of wanted everything to be not gratuitous but very natural, like sort of that sort of European sensibility. But as they pointed out, for their careers in Japan, like if that's really more the issues, that if you show nudity, that's it for your career basically. You get pegged as something. So I think we managed to do something very respectful in that sense, because I feel like that's part of the story. I wanted to show kind of from the beginning to the end how the relationship progresses, and you know, I thought it was an important part. But yeah, it's, you know, but again, I'm lucky enough that, so I've worked with Kyoko and Tomoko many times, so I think they were willing to take that risk with me, because I have, you know, with American Piano with Kyoko, and then with Silence, you know, those short films did gather a few awards, so you know, they decided to take that chance with me in this film. And yeah, unfortunately, like a lot of industries, you know, if you're getting an actress of a certain age, there's not that many opportunities. So, you know, for good roles that are not just playing, you know, the happy mum, you know, I think they jumped at it. During the making of the film, you know, pre-COVID, there was starting to be that momentum towards marriage equality. I mean, we are maybe 20 years behind. We're starting. If you remember when England was getting those like civil kind of licenses, we're sort of starting to get that here now, where you can go to the city office and declare that your relationship exists, which, you know, gives you this sort of the rainbow card. But
Yeah.
it doesn't really give you any rights. So, like, you know, like what my partner and I, like, we've kind of had these discussions that are in the movie. We've had them with each other, was saying, like, you know, I wanted to go and get one of them, but my partner was like, well, it doesn't do anything, so what's the point? You know, so, because I mean, there is that, you know, the part of the island culture in Japan is that, you know, because there is that sort of feeling, like, because there's a lot of natural disasters, that no one wants to be the black sheep. Like, everyone wants to be part of the group and not disturb the group. So, you know, there is that feeling that maybe coming out, and, you know, it all those sort of things are very kind of individualistic, I suppose. And so that there's a lot of barriers. Like, it's not just a societal barrier, there's also that kind of internal barrier as well.
You're not a new filmmaker. You've done short films, and one of the short films that's close to my heart is Silence, which you did
Thank
in
you.
2015, about domestic violence. It was not a topic that we could talk about, anything that portrayed our community in a negative sense, because all we
Exactly.
wanted was equality.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I didn't really think about it until I started promoting it. You know, it was sort of like, you know, when I decided, like, up until that point, I had never really made a LGBT film before. So when I decided that, okay, I'm going to tackle this issue, LGBT film, it was like, well, what kind of film do I want to make? Well, the story that I had in my heart is obviously something that I'd experienced myself, and it's something that I wanted to share, because it is, you know, for me, it's very therapeutic to, you know, like Dolly Parton, you know, writing a song about her tough childhood. You know, there is something about putting it out there on film and watching people make it, which is very, very confronting, but also very, very therapeutic. And then there's the hope that maybe you can help others. Um, so yeah, I knew it was a taboo, but I wanted to tackle it, and so we had, you know, we had made a short horror film in that location, and I thought, you know, I wanted to go back to that ghost town to make this kind of a film, because, you know, when you are in that kind of a relationship, and you know, you do love each other, but because of the nature of the relationship, the whole world is sort of crumbling around you and you're very isolated. And I just thought that to be able to show that situation, I could, you know, I could do it, and I could portray it, you know, without words.
And can people download it somewhere? Where?
So it's available for streaming on a number of platforms, including Gaga Ooh La La. So if you're touched by one of these films, please feel free to reach out to me. And on Facebook and Instagram, it's at Hamish Downie Writer, and on Twitter, it's at Hamish Downie. But you know,
Well, you're doing an amazing job, Hamish. The work you do, and you know, they are all close to your heart, but such social issues that are a reality. And I trust that our viewers, they will enjoy your films. Fantastic. Well, thank you, Hamish, for the chat today. It was really
thank you
great
for.
to learn about what about Japanese culture, and you know where it stands for LGBTQI people in Japan. Your film, you know, explains a lot and puts things, for me anyway, in perspective here in Australia, how far we have come. But you know, so it's great that you do this work and make those issues visible.
Oh, look, thank you so much, and thank you so much for having me on the, you know, the legendary Lesbians on the Loose. Like you know, I grew up with it. I'm so happy that it's back, and I'm so happy to. It's such a privilege to be here doing this interview. Thank you so much.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you, Hamish. If you enjoy LGBTQI+ films, make sure to check out our comprehensive YouTube playlist on LGBTQI+ films, or go to our website LOTL.com, where you will find our film section covering reviews on web series, films, classics, short films and more. My name is Silke Beider, and thank you for your company.